Ursay Bagu. Episode 3! The Great Departed Soul.
The grand end of the century great exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has
Get real racist, Goo. You know you want to join. Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Welcoming over 50 million.
50 million?
The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success.
I bet y'all get real racist, bro. I wouldn't be surprised.
With regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter.
My friend,
For
who's
from the
reading
shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the great exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as
well,
clear and lofty as the crystal.
Sholmes ain't dying, bruh.
Truth to light.
I don't know what your deal is with him, but he ain't dying, bro. I'm trying to play less and less rage-inducing multiplayers, so League's out of the question. Been playing a lot of Honkai recently, bro. I'm addicted. Oops.
The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car.
Honkai.
Will sprout
It's pretty fun.
wings and take to the skies. And today,
Been playing that in the
we
Black
showcase
Clover
even
game.
more advanced technology, a glimpse into the future. A world first, a demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity.
Wait, what?
and beamed to another location.
Oh, they're doing
Whereupon
teleportation.
his body will be
Black
reassembled
Clover.
by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
Oh, wow, this isn't gonna go poorly, bro. This isn't gonna go poorly.
In but a few moments from now.
Yeah, it's motherfucking dead.
The blink of an eye, completed incredible
Gotcha,
journey
Games.
through the air,
It's fun.
to arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you. This one. Yes. Woo!
This motherfucker's dead, bro. Mr. Compress, Dedge. This is not Compress. Yep, GG's. I like it was a good run. GG's Gorilla. GG's Detective. Oh, wow. Sholmes is sweet. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry. What was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? So now we're back to the present. This is where he was. Excuse me. This is where we were before the second chapter. Today's paper. It's full of news about the Great Exhibition today again. Ah, yes, the Great Exhibition. I like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Go. Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. When did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here, you know? Because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with the simple observations. I have 1 win and 2 losses and 1 draw. Bendy, it's time to hop off, bro. The game's not worth it right now, Bendy. Especially with that fucking ranked now, bro. It's not worth it. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced, therefore, that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, since we first met, in fact. Sholmes is 34, bro. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. Gotta get on a fun co-op game, not rage-inducing multiplayer games. Just the guy who's on League every night. Friend? It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working at court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh. Well, that'll explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. I don't rage like y'all motherfuckers do. Well, my fault, Mr. Perfect. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the great exhibition is open. You'd think you'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go see it together? I want to, of course I do, but I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable yet at the same time unforgivable mistake. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Bruno? Reading all those big fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. I'm brewing Iris's special blend of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Starting the silverware next, Mr. Master Naruhodo. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? The delightful Lord Chief Justice? Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art, and feats of engineering. The next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? Do you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air even have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. In 100 years' time, all things will just be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the opening experimentation stage yesterday. Apparently, there was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the Great Exhibition. The brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring back to the back of the paper? The Reaper attacked. So many glowing reports about the Great Exhibition. Everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? Lord Van Zykes and compatriot cornered. What's the matter, Runa? The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zykes. That must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more? I wonder. Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before it's too long. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shush! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it in here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually, the more mystery and complicated cases, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please! You mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without an invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. Huh. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zykes was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes. Prosecutor Barack Van Zykes. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics at these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zykes has been attacked like this before? This is the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness, is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zykes hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zykes and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. Ah, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait till tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later, indeed. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. Oh, Jesus, what are you wearing? Alright then, Runo, let's get going. Oh, Iris, what are you wearing? I got changed to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. After the Supreme Court, then we'll go see the Great Exhibition. Alright, looks like we got Iris with us. Where's Sholmes going, bruh? It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change. Like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I've forgotten that you've been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart. I trust you be keeping well? Let's see, since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who has allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in his grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result. Police on the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As for the hosting nation, I have much to do. It is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Ah, well, thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. What did I miss? Nothing! Oh, well, the only thing we know so far is that the great exhibition that they keep talking about is happening right now. And there was a little cutscene to where there was a, in the opening act, there was a machine that tried to teleport someone, and obviously it went wrong. And we were just talking to Mr. Sholmes, and we saw this. The Reaper got attacked. Lord Van Sykes got attacked by someone. We don't know anything about it besides that. And right now we're talking to the Lord Chief Justice to try and get back into the courtroom. Ever since that last case in the first game, because I guess the punishment for that case was we weren't allowed to practice law anymore. So now we're trying to request it back after 6 months. So here we are. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But why aren't we allowed to practice law? Because it's something that happened in the last trial. I don't remember the specific, but we did something that I guess needed to be punished. I don't remember what we did, but we did something in that last case. They flashed back to it, but I don't remember the part. With the whole, like, government shit. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Runa, just take a deep breath and come out with it. I think we did something wrong or something, if I'm not mistaken. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them will take place at last. Oh yeah, that's right. About playing the thing. Yeah. BS! I mean, it was government. It was supposed to be like top secret, but we played it anyways. Exactly. It's not like we got put in jail, we just couldn't practice law. London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Something happened to Gregson? Yeah. He got put in, I mean, we don't know what happened, but he got punished for talking with that guy during the trial. Did he get fired? I don't remember if he got fired, but there was definitely punishment upon him. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing. Remember when Gregson tried to make a deal with the culprit in the case or in the trial? Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly. It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure. The numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. I could cite 12 solid arguments, 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By the way, of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. In the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Whew! Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in a court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Uh-oh. Ask him again? I am not asking him again. Yes? Ugh, here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. Should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. And he fucking died to a stupid woman who pushed him, bro. Oh, it makes me so mad how he died, bro. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Osogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged, what do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Let's go, Strongheart! Woo! Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Runa. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course. Please tell me more. We're back in the game, baby. Makes me remember the way that Miraculous Scientific died in World War Z. That's a good game. It was a movie. It's a game too, motherfucker. Yeah, it's a game and a movie. You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in moving things with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil-may-care. Whatever this serious accident was, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination. It was an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage, and a man lost his life. It was certain Mr. Odie Asmund, an investor and a well-known figure in society. This is the cutscene we saw. What he's describing. A large explosion. A man died. The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Harebrain. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? You intend to take on his defense. You should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There's very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition. A scientific experiment gone wrong? And murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then. Try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh! With Lord Van Zykes? Wow. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zykes would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. He tells what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. Fortunately, Lord Van Zykes emerged from the attack unscathed. Don't think I'm on caught again. Don't worry, I'm gaining valuable information on the Brits. W. Gorilla. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicated and prosecuted by Van Zykes. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money. A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely? The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asmund, Mr. Odie Asmund. Oh, wow. Did you say Asmund? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder. Can I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you lose Lord Van Zykes as a prosecutor? All the criminals who managed to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of the fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zykes first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in the sense, but still. Something's clearly going on here. So do they... Oh my god. Are they killing motherfuckers that are actually criminals but somehow get out, bro? Is there like a secret hitman? This is quite an interesting development. What? I have Van Zykes work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following these trials are nothing to do with him. That doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand? Van Zykes may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. Sure, it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zykes now? I assume he's at his office. Alright, I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving, Professor Harbrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Nah, he wasn't talking for 12 hours, but he talked for a while. Because he said he was some odd minutes late when he got there. Probably closer to like 7. Prosecutor's office. Do we go to Van Zykes first or the prison? I want to talk to Van Zykes, bro. This will be the first time we see him out of the courtroom. Oh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. It sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that... What is he doing? That hooded figure was so still, I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ooh. He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh? That's my apprentice, and he's sitting there of his own free will. I don't know, you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. He's very able in combat, a requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself, assuming that is such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. What? What happened? Reaper? This motherfucker was attacked. And Sholmes is off doing his own investigation about some case that he won't tell us about. What do you mean by what you said before? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean... I'm a crown prosecutor and a mortal like any other. I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who, without question, deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. Wow. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny, in fact. She's ever so hardworking now. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died under mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Gordon Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. Oh, it would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say... I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that is my fate, let God decide. We're Van Dykes. I don't like how he's staring into my soul. Alright, just got home from work. Got family flying in at 2 a.m. for Christmas. 2 a.m.? Do you have to go pick him up? Lord Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. Of course I do. That's terrible. Better get some sleep then, bro. True. Carried out by the henchmen of Odie Asmon's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably, some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odie Asmon. He's always massacred as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhanded means, via his criminal activities. He used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances, it was a most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage instantaneous kinesis got wrong. Mr. Asmon died when the demonstration on the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Especially bad because I have to get up for work at 5 a.m. I haven't been going to bed until at least midnight, usually 1 a.m. Well, maybe you can try and take a nap or something? Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no. Does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runa? I mean, well, with you taking on the professor's defense for the trial tomorrow. What? You're going to be defending him? Oh yes, that's right. Oh, I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert. Albert Hairbrain. Where's Susato? She's back in Japan, Bendy. Excuse me. Maybe we'll see. Well, I hope it goes well, man. I hope you can get at least a little bit of sleep. Excuse me. Holy shit. How you doing, though, homie? Besides that. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? I got you, Weezy. What's up, man? He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... What? Free Ryan skin? Ooh! I want it. I understand that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. I understood that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. Hairbrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research. That's all. So you were students together. I was in the faculty of law, of course, and he in science. So our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along. Though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you, of all people, representing him. Ugh, only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know. Because the prosecution will be handled by me. By you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone else can do to save him. He's doomed. Gotta lurk for 9 hours. Dedge. It's time to boot up a 9-hour stream, Bendy. What's Lord Van Zykes thinking? Lord Van Zykes, about the article in this paper. Ah, yes, it seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him? He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Runa. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. Looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. Why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be good reason for his actions. So this is the motherfucker killing people. I hope you're right. Yo, fuck you, Steve. Oh, he's gone. Oh, hey, guy. Yeah, that's not mysterious at all. Ah! Hey, man. The task is complete? Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. I don't trust this motherfucker in the slightest, bro. Yeah, he's staring at me, bro. Nice to meet you? I don't like him. Is there bats in the... Yo! Why is there bats in here, bro? Back to work again? That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed. And yet, somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Who the fuck is it? Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? I don't know, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to. The way he stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Does he think it's Kazuma? No way. Did Kazuma fake his death? Oh yes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Because, I mean, he did say he had good combat. Kazuma had a sword. Oh, what's that? That Ponce man. Is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop and the mustache and the jitters. Ah, Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find out that you identify him from that list, Runa. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's a little time left before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Sosuke-san. After a Nepenthe. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. Did they try to kill fucking Natsume? What is happening, bro? I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? I had to turn up for the books. Mad scientist. Ah, you mean Professor Harebrained. Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zykes, I think. Is that Kazuma, bro? That'd be crazy. It was like seeing Edgeworth out of the courtroom for the first time. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Bruno, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead. Is he in the people? That could be Kazuma, bro. Alright, real quick, before I move, I'm gonna grab another Dr. Pepper real quick. And another water. I'll be right back. Prison. You finna piss? Yeah, probably. Probably like the next 30 minutes. The warden said cell 11. That's this one. Oh, there's someone curled up in a ball in the back corner. Look. What's his name again? Professor Albert Harebrained, wasn't it? Excuse me, Professor Harebrained. Who are you? I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a defense lawyer. A lawyer? Ah, something I said? A lawyer, you say? Would you be here about the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypothesis? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't... Yesterday's demonstration. The demonstration was... That magnificent demonstration was... It was an out-and-out success by anyone's calculations. But, despise that. No one's listened. No lawyer believes in the science. When it's explained, they all leave at high velocity. Now's probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made my concentration leave for a while, too. Oh, you mean the demonstration yesterday? Papers have called it a spectacular failure. After all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Yes, you can interpret the results that way if you really wanted to. Well, suppose in the strictest sense, the experiment was a failure, but at the same time, it was a great success. You've lost me. I saw with my own eyes, right there in front of me, Mr. Asman was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations had predicted. At that point, he should have been beamed to the Crystal Tower by the instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Asman in fact perished? Yes, I cannot deny that part of the experiment. I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Asman was an accident, correct? But the bigwigs had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. And for that, I wish to be punished at once. But murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident, simply an accident. I see. Hurley and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or a murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, the Professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Oh yes, it's newly established here in Britain. The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. That one passed me by. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour it over as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. My precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative that this whole incident is shown to have been an accident in tomorrow's trial. Ah, I see now. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes, or rather no. The devil is in the details. Strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all the matter, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. So it must be possible using sufficiently high voltage to break those bonds in beams and beam the particles through space. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea. You see, that's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it. Dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think, one moment I could be here in this cell, and the next, I could be at the Great Exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in the mere blink of an eye, I could be at the Great Parisian Theater, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet would be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes on rocky seas for 50 days? I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't really seem vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right. What are the implications? What does this mean? Oops, that's got Professor Bunny Brain really worried about by the look of it. Clearly, this is yet another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. Point is, my calculations are flawless. Science works. But without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. That's always the fly in the ointment. Practical demonstrations cost a lot of money. Money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes. Hurley's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asman, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with the man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to invest in my immaculate hypothesis. I thanked my lucky stars. I see. So you hadn't really known each other until then. Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel, even. Prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for presentation at the Great Exhibition. If that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to my precise specifications. But then your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Asman. I would never, ever have thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. Yeah. Kyoto Taku. Hi, Kia. Remember that this guy is Reaper's friend? That is true. Well, they're acquaintances. I don't know if they're friends. They're acquaintances. Any friend. How's it going, Kia? I understand Lauren Van Zykes is a friend of yours from university days. Oh, well, never mind. Maybe they are friends. Sup, boo, with your friend. How are you? What happened? Yes, that's right. He was studying law whilst I was studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, and all-around nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor, Barack Van Zykes. What was he like when he was at university? Talk about a leading question, Runa. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. I threw up yesterday? You threw up? Sage. Are you sick? After all, he is the little darling of the Van Zykes family, with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had quite such noble blood. Little darling. It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain to learn what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after graduation. Really? What sort of event? I'm sorry. Well, I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany. I was in Germany already. Oh, yes, of course. Nope, I think it's what I ate. Never having tuna again. Did you put mayo in the tuna? Or did you just eat the tuna? I hope you just didn't eat the tuna. Rolling up fish just changes a person. Yeah, that's gross. I don't think I've ever threw up fish. What about shrimp? You're not gonna eat shrimp? Oh wait, you said never having tuna again. I lied. It was a sandwich? A tuna sandwich? Must have been some rotten tuna. Hi, Saber. Hey, man. I don't have shrimp. Go get you some shrimp. Oh, yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lauren Van Zykes will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying. You had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4, I swear it. Yes, it's true that the man perished in the machine of my invention, so I know that I'm far from blameless in all this, but still, I will never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life, not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science, it's all I know. You have to believe me, please. You believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? It was packaged, it was like the package kind of. So it couldn't have been like bad. I mean, if it was packaged, it still could be bad. But just because it's packaged doesn't mean it's bad. It isn't bad. We've gotten a lot of shit in that was packaged and it was already bad when it came in, so. Like, pooped and puked for 2 hours straight. Yeah, that sounds terrible. A little bit of food poisoning, maybe? Yeah, food poisoning, probably. That sucks. Science is the pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that all my life. I'm afraid I don't know much about science or your theories, but I do believe you. and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. I'm a man of the law. That's all I know. You have to believe me, please. When I went to live in Germany after I graduated, I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. All right, Runo. It's time. Time to visit the great exhibition. I'm gonna throw out the others just cause. Yeah, might as well. I wouldn't trust them. But I don't know, guess not, or didn't mix well with my antibiotic for my acne. Something went awry. So that's weird. Sometimes it happens. I once made a soup and I didn't check for bugs in the noodles. Ended up in a hospital 8 hours later. Bugs? Oh man, you ate a bug, bro? Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. Bugs. Yuck. Alright, bye, Hairbrain. But here we go. Here comes the best part. Actually, my tomato spinach toast sandwich instead of tuna. That sounds better. Beans on toast. Eat the Pokemon. What Pokemon? Like me, beans on toast. Beans are gross. Yuck. Ugh, the showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. I've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I felt myself swooning 3 times. There are a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trodden on 3 times, too. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. You finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we are, underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion happened yesterday. Oh, wow. What's that? I can hear voices from up on the stage. Sounds like an argument. Oh, look who it is! Both of them. Just trying to eat better because I'm fat with high cholesterol. My family suffers from heart diseases and strokes and heart attacks. Oh, wow. Yeah, be careful. I'm only 25. My cholesterol is higher than my dad's was before he got stents put in. So what causes high cholesterol? Oh, Gina! And look, it's your favorite person! It's Gregson! Right, I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you, I'll arrest you in a minute. Oh yeah? Go on then, Spectre, give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence, and you know it. Wait, I know those voices. You've got a cheeky little mouth on you, young lady, but a night in the cells will teach you some manners. Just try it, I dare you, if you want the bag of chips rammed down your throat. You, Gregsy, what are you doing up there? Ah! Ah! It's you! Here! You're here! Here you are! You! Here! Your ladyship! How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're well, your ladyship? Does that make her 3 times a lady? I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue. Unbelievable! I'll go have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. I'll fuck you up. Shut up, Dylan. Tell him, Gina. What you eat, body activity, and hereditary. So mine's kind of all 3. Oh, wow. Well, it's time to start exercising, Kia. My interview's on Thursday. I'm so nervous. You'll do fine. I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about. I mean, when it comes to interviews, they really just ask the simplest of questions. I don't think they're gonna ask you anything super complicated. You should be fine. Didn't this dude make a shady deal? He did. He did. What if I don't know the answers? I only have one in my life. It's usually just like simple stuff like, what would you do in so-and-so situation? Or can you do this, that, and the other thing? You pretty much just gotta say yes. I don't know what they ask me. It's, like I said, literally just like simple, generic, like common sense questions. Just common sense questions, Kia. You're overthinking it. Stop. Stop. And lie. You can also lie. Most people lie in interviews. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, but it would appear he's back in action now. Oh, he was only suspended. I don't have common sense. We know this. Well, it's GG's then. Just kidding. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it too much. I'm gonna bomb this? Well, don't say that. You'll be fine. You're worrying too much. You'll be fine. He's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And for that reason, he can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. But there are limits, surely. Or there should be. Watch it, sunshine. Sorry? What gives then? Don't tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me. That's the situation, is it? It's really that troubling? A measly 5, Bob? Is that all you got? You're a lawyer, ain't you? You can stand to carry out a bit more copper already in your pockets, Mr. Nara Odo. What? Hey! That last bit of spending money, that is. You just stole my money! You can have it back. We'll have to charge you for all the bother. 3 bob. You just stole my money! But I need this. You'll be fine. Like I said, it's literally common sense, Kia. The dumbest people in the world can do shit like this. You'll be fine. Bob, do something. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocketer, a diver, born and bred in the East End of London. And the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago. This is the young girl I was defending at court. What's your problem, man, Otto? Diver? Pickpocket? What's with all the name calling? You want a bag of chips ran down your throat and all, do ya? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assume you've been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. I ain't no way to talk to a lady, Yodo. All a year's a long time. Or half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now. Learn to be a Scotland Yard detective. So you have to call me what everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely. The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls her that. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right. She's gonna be an inspector, bro. W. Even me? Even you, Big Meat. Big Meat, do you have a job? I'm dumber than the dumbest. You'd be surprised how dumb there are. How many dumb people there are, Kia. And how dumb they can really be. I'm surprised about half the people that work at Walmart and how they got their job. Right. Well, I'll be back up top. You hold down the fort down here, alright? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Doo-doo. I miss her theme, bro. I like her theme a lot. Walmart, they take anyone. I know, but still. That's what I'm saying, Bendy. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realized I couldn't go on like I was. The diver weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Talk about a sea change. And there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all stops looking for him. Just a small promise, then. Nothing serious? Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. Oh, well, about your father. Yeah. So anyway, that's how come I had to go at the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem, nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Gregson and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson and brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. Great detectives like digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and short of it is, if you got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Oh, what, Runo, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was a defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet, here she is still. Come on. You're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called? Corey, you don't have to worry, Odo. If I didn't half worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, ain't it? The Reaper's kind of like him upstairs. So he knows what I'm like on the inside. That I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly, so I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. I don't like the way they're talking right now. Don't worry, they'll be replaced by machines soon. Uh-oh, gotta poop. Had some huge Viking poop before, but never clogged a toilet. You're lying about never clogging the toilet. That's such a lie. That's a lie! Of course it was out of this world it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it started billowing smoke. It just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean, you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Of keeping everything running smooth, I mean? Boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to take some getting used to. All I have to say is that I'm on duty and I can do whatever I want to. Get this. I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard, too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You have no trouble at all. And it's settled. When do I start? No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success, in a way. It was? How could it have been? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. It's like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of smoke in that whooping great bang. A whopping great bang. Where'd you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. What? In the tower? You see for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Oh, where all the glasses broke, you mean? Yeah, the cage with the victim got into the start with. Really did get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and out of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. Oh, I tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment they drew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 bob off you. So fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? Waifu. Alright. Waifu. Big me! How you doing, buddy? Something Inspector Greggs has said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes, naughty old Greggs, he ran off after that without explaining himself. Oh, right, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call him again? The Forensic Investigation Team, I think. Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate. Yes, I've never heard something like that before. I thought I could have a gander on the quiet, though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard him giving me an earful about it before from down here, didn't you? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all the chips what make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Odo? Go on. See if you can get him. See if you can get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where that machine exploded is. We could try, can't we, Runa? Gregsy will listen to us. Yes, Kia? Want to see my Christmas tree? Let me see it. Let me see it. Yeah, I like Gina's theme a lot. So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. Send a pic, Kia. Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion, and I've seen my fair share. Christmas. Crimmy. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course, Hurley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. Ah, that might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time, he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been there to see, Runa. It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Hey, hold on. That's a cute little tree. Is it a small tree on the table? Little tree. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. And who's all those presents for? Are those my presents? Oh, look, Inspector Gregson's over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. No, for the family. God damn it. Well, it's a very nice tree. Looks good. You see my tree. I mean, it's in the back of my face cam every time. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air. Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris? Oh, Rudo. I'm just a child. How should I know? Child when it suits you, you mean. From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this lever here... Stop! Don't touch that! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Gregsy. Please, your ladyship, I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. So sorry. You're gonna have some my latest special blend to make up for it. I know he hates that fucking tea, bro. Ah, wonderful. Stuff is really wonderful. It's just like the old times, this is. Guys, do not get a Christmas tree while you own a cat. Or two in my case. Yeah, cats like to jump around Christmas trees, bro. So once I eventually get a cat, bro, I'm gonna have to like hook up my tree somewhere, I think. Oh shit, it's demonic, bro. We're representing Professor Harebrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene. Huh, listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty. Oh yes, that special dispensation. Dispensation. The professor mentioned that too. Fuck you, demonic. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Eh? Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy? Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Runa? She really knows how to get what she wants. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body. And then beam him across to the Crystal Tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True, it was by far the most unusual of experiments planned for the exhibition, mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. The government's doing everything they can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yes, I suppose that's true in a way. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on the scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical idea and even going to production. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new High Fault and Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. Ah, I see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department at the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team, it's called. We've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool could see that heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. But just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing about it. Can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Gregsy. He's very head up, isn't he? Remind me again. What's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Are you having at me, Sunshine? It's the special dispensation for special scientific equipment act. Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently. The real twinkle in his eyes, I remember. I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think about all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the new inventions are here. It's all so fun. Might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Excuse me, can you imagine a hang science? That's what I say. Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers' bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly. Sorry? Thanks to another one of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. Scientists get funding? Exactly. And that's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. And who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. So you see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science, hang it! Oh, maybe I can see your point. So maybe this was meant to kill. This machine was meant to kill. But they just, they came up with like a scientific idea. Something of the sorts. Oh, I got you, I'll hydrate. Want a tomato spinach sandwich? Ooh, I got extra. I've never had a tomato spinach sandwich. What kind of bread? What a flaming sham. That's what I'm saying, Big Meat. Apparently, Professor Harebrained lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right. Came back to Britain, especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. And it turns out he's at a university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zykes. Eh? What's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zykes mans the prosecution, then as the accused, the professor's fate is sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or another? Blimey. That man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zykes, this morning paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, Reaper, huh? How long is that business gonna keep up, I wonder? Ooh, I like wheat bread. Wheat bread. Think BLT without the bacon. Still really good. Can I have one? I am kind of hungies. The professor did say that the victim's expert created his machine following his instruction. Yeah, but that was the guy who went into the machine. Unless he was trying to, like, off himself. Interesting. The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman. He was another of Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Baroque Van Zykes is a top-class prosecutor. But even he can't always push the right verdict, though. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. That's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zykes initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal a deal in court. Although the man himself denied that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation. The conclusion we reached, is that Lauren Van Zykes is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. It's that fucking apprentice who might be causing it. Alright, I got you. Thanks, Kia. Are you streaming today? There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. Oops. He said that at a university, Lord Van Zykes was totally a different person. Easygoing and kind. You what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? He's a liar. Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, hey? He's a liar! He's a fucking liar. I'm gonna play some Phasmo pretty quick here. Nice! Who you playing it with? William Turner. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung on myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? He asked, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we're allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could get that answer that maybe we can answer that question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly! The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules. Oh. Look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A. Looks like there's blood on it. Is it? Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung on myself, I said. Yes, I understand, sorry. I only touched a teeny weeny bit. But Gregsy, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. I'm afraid I can't let you have it. Well, Runo found it first. I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. That was very mean, I'm afraid. Inspector Gregsy is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now. Poor Gregsy. Please do, Iris. All I know is Enya for now. Trying to find another person. I don't know if Ottles is joining here. Nice. I hope you all find someone, bro. Phasmo. What's that gigantic thing over there? Looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins you see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour. If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Runa. There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition Grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Runo? I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one of Hurley's stories I'd written especially. And see if I can get a Hurley into a jam against some Baritsu master ninjas. Might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, that's dull. Oh, I do know a prosecutor with a Chan Mage top knot I could introduce you to. Chan Mage? Really? You think I'm gonna have a picture taken with him, do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Cosma gave him a year ago, yes. Yeah. He doesn't have it anymore after Susato fucked with him. Excuse me. Joel! Half an hour long Ferris wheel. You don't want to go on a half an hour long Ferris wheel, bruh? That's an amazing horn-shaped device. Wait, that amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the Crystal Tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they are shot out of that thing to wherever they're going. I don't think we're supposed to shoot anything, Runa. We're set up to beam people to the Crystal Tower where they'd be reconstructed in the original form. Well, I don't like the look of it. If it was as amazing as it looked, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? Sorry, give me 1 second. What if they give me an in-flight meal and let me piss off the side? Wow. I don't think they're gonna let that happen. Real quick. Wait, did I investigate the balloons? No, I didn't. So those are people carrying balloons, dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly. I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colorful, floating Tamari handballs. Sure must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Let's take a ride together, Runo, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guaranteed that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh well, in that case, I should tell you that what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground as long as it doesn't explode. Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play on my mind a little. Alright. Make sure I don't have to show Greg see anything else. Inspector, have you read this paper? Yeah, 2 unwelcome blasts back to back. This one at the exhibition and the Reaper getting attacked. I know, terrible news to wake up to, wasn't it? I tried to pretend I had read it and turned over for another 40 winks. Thanks to that, I was laid up and got a roasting from the super. Some mornings are like that, aren't they? Alright. Thank you, Gregsy. I don't think I can talk to him about anybody else. Actually, maybe I can. Hold on. Oh, I can't show him people. Alright, well, I think that's it there. How do I get back? Can I get back? Okay, I can't get back. Ah! Looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped? Or hid? What is this? Some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. Could have fallen from that platform above in the blast, perhaps. What's going on here? Oh! Nothing. I think I'll hang on to this just in case. Mysterious contraption. For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot. Look. Almost as if there was a fire here or something. Yes, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers, too. Well, I suppose there was some big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at a small fire like this would have been. I'm not sure we English are quite that laid back, Runa. Oh, look, what's this? A ripped piece of cloth. It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. Looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think. Some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means it has something to do with the explosion. Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. That's where the cove ended up after its instant kinesis or whatever they call it. Dead, of course. And yet they're calling the experiment a success? What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers. Our lads set that up after the incident happened. To get the body down, I think. Don't know, really. Didn't you help to erect the scaffold, then? Nah. Lookout duty's more my thing. Wander around the exhibition and keep it a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that, or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible, though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? Runo, listen. What? What is it? I've been thinking. Hurley might know something. Mightn't he? About what? About Mr. Reaper. But what happened to Lord Van Zykes, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from the university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tussbells. Is this supposed to mean something to me? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you like. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? Yes. How is that you know where he is? Hurley told me. But he told me to keep it a secret from you, Runa. Madame Tussbells. I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then... Stranger things have happened. And when they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Most of the characters' theme songs in this game are pretty good. Oh, it's a wax museum? Oh, wow. What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes. Why are all the people so still? Guillotines, ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. We'll see you later, my dear Gina. Jiro. They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Runa? Shocked? Wax models? Tch. I read about dead bodies and wax ones in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax, apparently. It's called a dip. I don't know. I don't even know what that word is. Stop talking about creepy things like that, Runo. You're scaring me. Anyway, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh wow. What now? I've just remembered something else I read in another magazine about strange phenomena. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display. None of the exhibits in here are real. They're all entirely man-made replicas. They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them. Oh. There's no way anybody can make models of people that are this realistic. And they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait. What is it? Oh. No. I must be seeing things. Yo, what's that motherfucking hand doing? Is this an arm? It looks like an arm, doesn't it? Maybe one of the Waxworks models has fallen over. You don't think it could be the work of one of the mass murderers in here, do you? Bruno, stop scaring me. Is it a wax arm or a real one? Come on. You're always pointing that finger of yours in the court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels. Objection! What is Sholmes doing here? I don't know. Fucking Sholmes, look at him. It's the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? Really? Well, he is world famous after all. It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? Makes my skin crawl to look at. I know. But look, Runa, you can kick this Hurley and he doesn't move a muscle. Can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. That was funny. It just moved, I'm sure. And not just a little bit either. Kick him again. Really? Did it? Look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Kick him again, bro. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look. There's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing.
Hold it!
He said, hold it! My dear fellow, I take exception to you recoiling in such a manner, as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Sholmes! I knew it. Iris! What possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick! Could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me. Bruno has something he needs to ask you. Ah, a question? And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are. Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that. And my great brain upon which all my success has been built would have turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you? You could know something, it's true, about Lorne Van Zykes and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can we be of assistance? For your unluck, I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, Well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it is related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But how could it be? Shall speak again presently, my dear fellow. But for now, I must return to my work. What, back to being a temporary waxworks exhibit? What is this place? Madame Tusfel's comes to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, it's great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxworks models is a particular secret of the Tusfel's family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. Ugh, that sounds grim. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned. Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses, right there at the site of the executions. That really turns my stomach. Yeesh. That's just one of several legends about the Tusfel's family. Whether there's any truth to it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular area of the museum by quite some margin is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visitors' numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition. But people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So they're even stiffer now than the models of them. Have you heard of poor taste? My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So, the hideous exhibits in here they're all portrayals of real events that actually took place. Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he? Do you think maybe... Well, this wax museum has something to do with the case. Maybe that wax? Maybe that person that went inside the cage was a wax? What do you mean by temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them? Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare them. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'm happy to allow them to take a photograph with us. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money! He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors. As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent, and I have the ravenous iris to consider. Oh, Hurley. I'm so hungry. If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your own bit, Mr. Naruhodo. What's he threatening to rope me into now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? It's a special treat. You may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril. Being back to being a waxwork again. Is it just me, or did his final remark there sound a lot like a curse? So this is Holmes's job. I guess whenever this exhibit comes in, because they're only in for a little while. So I think Wait, no. Wait, no, I lied. I think it's here all the time. I don't know. I don't know. Well, what does he like to ask me then? Actually, it's about Lord Van Zykes. Ah, our friend Mr. Reaper. How'd you find him? Well, I trust. So I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I learned. About Lord Van Zykes, about Professor Harebrain, and about the strange coincidence that they had been at university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Van Zykes such a different person. I was sure that you know, Hurley. You said that there was something going on in here in this exhibit hall before. That something was afoot. And you believed that it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes? He suddenly clammed up. Well, it seems we've reached the unavoidable... Greetings! Oh? Oh, hello. Where'd she appear from? And what's she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious? I hope you are appreciating my museum. Sorry, have we? Mr. Sholmes, you know that? Not again. My apologies. I am oh my god. Esmeralda. Esmeralda Tuspels. This is my museum of waxwork. What? You're the Madame Tuspels? Bien sir, though only 26 years young, I might add. Nice. This might be the one, bro. Is that significant somehow? I'm a madam in name only. It adds a certain... Oh god, she speaks French. Right. New waifu? I think so, bro. Firstly, I must rather apologize for my waxworks, or rather, one waxwork in particular. That'll be Mr. Sholmes, then. I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, we'll be toiled in trouble. We'll be toil in trouble. She sounds deadly serious. Bro, this is so funny. What the heck? That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Van Zykes now? Let's not forget what about Hurley said before. About something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean. Yes, I know, but... I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening here. Haven't we got enough on our plate already? I like her theme too, bro. Madame Tuspels. I like her, bro. There's so many people in here, bro. Oh, this is Asmon. This is the guy that died. I don't know why they got Susato here, bro. Gina is 18 years old. That's all you, bro. I call Tuspels. Alright. I'm not going to jail. You know what, bro? Fair enough. Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Tuspels? I did. I am the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know. Hush. It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. No, that is, when she acquired the Savior Fair that leads to the astonishing lifelikeliness. All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled. in the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret to the extraordinary lifelikeliness. Sounds terrifying. All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which public wishes to see. Ugh, why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry? This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I hope you will explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here. Come to think of it. Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things. What's the situation with, that? Ah, my temporary waxwork model? He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal. Oh, what sort of proposal? My dear madam, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective. Or words to that effect. Huh. Naturally, I am well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective. It's a great detective, actually. He's very specific about it. Yes. It's creme de la creme. So I was keen to come to some arrangements with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms. Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere 500 pounds! I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment. Or words to that effect. Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch. Regrettably, the museum has shortage of funds at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. So we came to the current arrangement instead. Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing though, does he? I would think not, but he was very insistent. I have a 50 shilling problem. It must be resolved by the morning. Or words to that effect. It's the pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have something to redeem. Is the consulting detective work not going so well? fucking Sholmes, bro. I wonder. Could I ask you something? Bien, sir. I'm just curious. Is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps? Don't yell at me. Uh-oh. Whoever suggested such a thing to you? Oh, well, it was... Here we go, bro. He left your temporary wax worker over there who mentioned it to me a little... Oh, he's disappeared. A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade. Ah. There you are. Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working? Do you wish to be melted down? My dear Madam Tuspel, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our deal about your current problem we must throw into the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police. Why ever not? She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective, whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer it no. I insist upon payment in advance. Very well. What? Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we? Before I engage my analytical processes, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray, is behind the curtain? That is the Tuspel special exhibit. There was an extra charge to see it. Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. Must depict a special killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder? Yeah, absolutely none. There was nothing amiss behind there. Nothing amiss, madam. Tch! It's a fucking arm. What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain? Ah! I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond, before the situation worsens. Yes, very well. Can I see? I'll draw back the curtains. Only a soupçon. What is that? Only a second? I want to see. Oh, she's doing it. Must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. Tuspel's special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however? It's a portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor. We've seen that motherfucker. Where have we seen him from, bro? Yes, we have. Well then, perhaps, Mr. Sholmes. That man on the floor is the ruthless killer himself. I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman, not even a waxwork, in fact. What? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. Juror number 6? No, it's not the old man. Oh, we've seen him before, bro. We definitely have. He looks familiar. So allow me to present my 2 conclusions. The first is that the sizable business transaction has been taking place in this special exhibit. Why would you say that? And the second is the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime. She looks as pale as candle wax. I don't understand. So, Madame Tuspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective in temporary exhibit at work. Ah, here we go. Here we go. The game is afoot. Conclusion. Our waxwork's fate. I do like her, Madame Tuspels. I like her. To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. My estimation, some 200 pounds? That is all my own money. So what does this large sum of money reveal? Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madame Tuspels. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that public note. Waxwork for sale. Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. It's short. You sold the infamous killer, the centerpiece of your special exhibit, for the sum of 200 pounds. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is this portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Ah. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the 200 pounds. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around with your little finger most effectively. What are you suggesting? He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of 200 pounds. Only when he came to hand the money over did it occur to him what an extortionate amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hand. And the result, the scene we see before us. He collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in the special exhibit fetched a killer price. I can only pray this gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret. Dude. What happened? What'd I do? Waxwork location. What? Fucking sure. Fucking Sholmes, bro. The question that arises then is what has become... Oops. What has become of the waxwork that changed hands? You and Jiro and the waifu train. What? Oh, what? Do a lot of people like Madame Tusswells? I mean, like, how couldn't you, bro? Let us consider that problem for a moment. You cannot possibly. What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe his neckerchief. Such as is worn by a policeman as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman, currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay. What are you talking about? The man's quite a celebrity. He's received triple accolades at last year's policing awards. But next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with particularly unsightly visage. How's what your Gina like? Yo, Jiro, you hear this shit? I mean, yo, Joel, you hear this shit, bro? I mean, but Joel, you can't say anything. You like fucking Windbag. Or whatever her name is. The old bitch from Ace Attorney. I've been watching closely. He hasn't moved a muscle. Almost as fast as if you were a waxwork. Ah, but your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it once, of course. Observe. Telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man's a waxwork is that obvious price tag. Threepence? A tragically low price, you might say. Though perhaps the going rate for aging waxworks riddled with cracks. At least I'm unique. Old people need love too. That doesn't make you better, Jiro. The sort of plucky behavior that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madam? I do not. Yes, the waxwork you sold has already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in the special exhibit, and not a moment too soon. Discovered already. This concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Yeah, I'm not with him on the Gina train, bro. That's all him, bro. Don't lump me in with that shit. I've been talking about Tusswells, not fucking Gina. I see I've stunned you all into silence. You have, Hurley. Hey, you have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron looks awfully hot. If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the notorious Naruhodo 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deduction, then, the special exhibit features this old policeman? So that would mean that he's particularly ruthless murderer, wouldn't it? A killer policeman. Ottermold. Sorry? It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time, only to find the culprit had disappeared into the ether. Then it turned out the culprit was a policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Ottermold. So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man there is supposed to be? Indeed. It is a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well. But is 200 pounds a lot of money for a wax model? It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages if that puts things in perspective. So it is quite a lot then. Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down? That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous. Ugh. The smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me. Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her to her face, so I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris. That's alright. To make some minor corrections to the Great Detective's great deductions. Of course it's alright. We'll soon set things straight. Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tusples vents her anger. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Tusples, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. All my fellas. Hey, Tony. Hey, man. To begin, we must ask ourselves what exactly... Oh, wait. We don't need it. We've already read all this, bro. There we go. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. She definitely looked in this direction. It's true. But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks, even for 200 pounds. Oh? She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything. For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway... I wonder if that 200 pounds could have some other significance. Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it. It seems this well-dressed gentleman is alive after all, just not alive and kicking. And he's not a waxworker or a model of a mass murderer. I'm not sure I'd pay 200 pounds for him. I don't think the man's up for sale. Well, anyway, it was just a silly place to put him. Other museums visitors could easily trip. I don't think the man was put there on purpose either. Oh. What's the note doing pinned on the wall there? Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Tusples, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is 200 pounds. Have the money ready by noon on 23rd October. What? This is just like that sort of thing that's left behind when someone is kidnapped. Yes, it's a ransom note. Exactly.
Take that!
The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so. And we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness abducting a waxwork. 200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it. The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have. In summary then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Why am I reading this out again? So if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who this man is? We can just ask him when he comes around. I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris. Yes, you're right. Hurley's trying so hard, we mustn't let him down. Well, there's little doubt that he suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what Madame Tuspel is trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around. What the hell is that hand, bro? This is just Madame Tuspel's right hand, isn't it? Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all. Oh, but wait a minute. His left hand as well, look. Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please. And it seems very stiff, too. In fact, it's really hard. I mean, it's made of wax?
Take that!
What dealt the man with such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow. How could you? The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that, in fact, it's a left hand. It's somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a waxwork model. Oh, wow. Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage. So you mean that arm? Yes. This gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir. No small keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms. I'm afraid I had to teach the man a lesson. Oh, wow. You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. And the result, the scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in the special exhibit has been kidnapped. Alright, come on. Excuse me. According to Mr. Sholmes, the Yellow Neckerchief chief is assigned to other policemen that some crime is underway. A way of communicating with his colleagues without revealing his identity, yes. It's a secret that closely guarded by Scotland Yard. That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away. Well, uncovering secrets is in any true detective's nature, of course. Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tussville's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' seduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly. What? Man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be. Ah, well that settles that then. Right, this isn't a real person at all. His entire arm's been ripped off from the shoulder down. His arm's been... Of course. That ties it with what we just found out.
Take that!
Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub. No such boneless human walks this earth, of that I can assure you. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact, defying all odds, a waxwork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes. He has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man. Basically, the guard fell asleep and a random guy broke the mannequin and fell in shock. Something like that. Naturally, what other explanation could there be? And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turn our attention to the old man. Okay. Yeah, so this is a guard. Killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known? It was all over papers last year. But I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though. Threepence isn't much money. Only enough for a few measly hours of gas and Mr. Garrideb's delightful lodgings, in fact. So this is a special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds? Is this crusty old killer police otter mole, really? Perhaps we should have a good look around and see if any other idea crops up.
Take that!
The telltale signs that instantly proves whether or not this old man's waxwork is the obvious twitch. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. Bro was twitching. In other words, the splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard. Slight shift in your choice of adjectives then. There you have it. Well, Madam Tusbles? Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He was clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep. But then, what's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? No doubt the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume you observed the scarf tied around his arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway. Of course, because as you know, there has been just such criminal activity happening here. As you deduced from the very beginning, Detective. So, it would seem that we finally arrive at the truth. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Still a mystery. Yeah, nice job, Sholmes. Shut up, Dylan. Elementary. All sorts of people visit my museum here. Men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in for just a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. Elementary, my dear Watson. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway. Yeah, I like her, bro. Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had led to believe. But that was all my doing. I did all the work. It was a pleasure, my dear madam. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display, if it was indeed genuinely abducted. Yes, tragically, it was. Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork, in as much detail as possible, if you please. Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work. The talents of a great detective can be put to better use, I feel. But as you wish. Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please. It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I merely noticed that a waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here. It is your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed. I found the ransom note in its place. Cobra must have broken in during the night and taken it then. So this waxwork that was stolen, it was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose? A particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor. Not a name I've heard of. So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry? Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it? Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time that Barak Van Zykes graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying. So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life? As you surmised, it was the professor case. Who was this professor then? I like how they're playing Van Zykes' theme right now. It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death. Now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is this all related to Lord Van Zykes? You must at first understand, my dear fellow. Why is it that the professor earned such an infamy? It was due to the victims he chose. Some of Whitehall's finest. What do you mean, Hurley? Those murdered by the professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Jesus. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... Ah, wait, of course. What Professor Harebrain said. Lord Van Zykes is from a family with noble blood. Oh, gosh. It was the 5th victim that led to the professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of Clint Van Zykes. No, I don't believe it. Van Zykes? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor. And eventually became the Reaper we know today. I had no idea Lord Van Zykes had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter. For the time being, at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit. I'm afraid I should have to excuse myself as well. Oh yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Wait a moment, Goo. My internet died before they announced why the fuck is that guard sleeping. Oh, they just said he was sleeping. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Oh, wow. It's been too long. It really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barak. It's been 10 years. And here we are, meeting in a prison of all places. I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Asmund. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide. Yes. I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It was an accident, a terrible accident. He assures me he could prove it. I must warn you. Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you? Yes. Set to return to England. I've heard lots of stories. Barak, are you really? What? Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else. Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Barak. Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. Interesting. Okay, I saw all this interaction. I like it. Now tell me, please. So, we deduced that the wax is still gone. The guard's just sleeping. There's nothing else to that. The guard's just sleeping. The wax is gone. And the wax was a serial killer from 10 years ago named the Professor. And that guy relates to Van Zykes and kind of what happened after graduation to make him what he is now. I guess the Professor, his final kill was Van Zykes' older brother. So that's why Van Zykes is the way he is now. He became a prosecutor and pretty much is the way he is now.